Hi guys, Victoria Paxton here. Thanks for stopping back by my YouTube channel. Okay, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. So, today I am talking about Maura Murray. This is kind of long, and the only way for me to do it is just to do it. Like, there's going to be a lot of reading, and yeah. She was born May 4th, 1982 in Hanson, Massachusetts. May 4th is my daughter's birthday. Okay. So the afternoon of Monday, February 9th, she left the university she was attending. She left campus. She emailed her professors and her work supervisor that she was taking off a week due to a death in the family. According to her family, there had been no death. At 7:27 p.m., a local woman reported a car accident on a sharp corner of Route 112 adjacent to her home. A passing motorist who also lived nearby stopped at the scene and asked the woman driving the car if she needed assistance. She declined, claiming she had roadside assistance. Upon arriving at home several minutes later, the motorist reported the accident to emergency services. At 7:46 p.m., law enforcement arrived at the scene of the crash, but the woman was nowhere to be found. Police traced the vehicle to Murray and initially treated her as a missing person on the belief that she may have wanted to disappear voluntarily. For obvious reasons. She contacted all of her professors and her supervisor and said, I had a death in the family. I'll be gone for a week. So it sounded like she was, gone for a week. Okay, so let me kind of back up a little bit. So after she graduated from Whitman-Hanson Regional High School, she was accepted into United States Military Academy in West Point, New York. Supposedly, I'm saying supposedly because I don't know this to be 100% true, she was expelled because she had stolen $5 or something that was valued at $5. She then transferred to the University of Massachusetts Amherst to study nursing. In November 2003, 3 months before her disappearance, she admitted to using a stolen credit card to order food from multiple restaurants. So, yeah, that irks the crap out of me because you know what? I had that happen to me. And we knew the person. And they went to their girlfriend's college campus and ordered pizza for like the whole dorm. Yeah, that sucks. The charge was continued, and in December, it was going to be dismissed after 3 months of good behavior. So it would have been wiped clean. So she definitely had some issues. There was definitely something going on there. She had started doing things that she had never done before, and not in the good, but for the bad, Okay. So supposedly on February 5th of 2004, that night, Murray spoke to her older sister, Kathleen, while she was on duty at her campus security job. Yeah, so they discussed Kathleen's relationship problems with her fiance. Around 10:30 p.m., while she was still on her shift, it was reported that Maura broke down in tears. When her supervisor arrived at her desk, Maura was just completely zoned out. She was unresponsive. The supervisor escorted Maura back to her dorm room around 1:20 a.m. When Maura was asked what was wrong, she said, "My sister." So her sister Kathleen was a recovering alcoholic. She'd been discharged from a rehabilitation clinic that evening, and on the way home, her fiance took her to a liquor store, which caused an emotional breakdown. So she relapsed on the way home from rehab. That sucks. Saturday, February 7th, Murray's father, Fred, arrived in Amherst. He told investigators he and Murray went car shopping that afternoon and later went to dinner with a friend of his daughter's. Murray dropped her father off at his motel room and borrowed his Toyota Corolla, returned to campus to attend a dorm party. She arrived at 10:30 p.m. At 2:30 a.m. on Sunday, February 8th, she left the party. At 3:30 a.m. en route to her father's motel, she struck a guardrail on Route 9, causing $10,000 worth of damage to her father's car. The responding officer wrote an accident report, but there's no documentation of her being given a field sobriety test. Murray was driven to her father's motel and stayed in his room the rest of the morning. At 4:49 a.m., there was a cell phone call placed to her boyfriend from Fred's phone. Later Sunday morning, Fred learned the damage to his vehicle would be covered by his insurance. He rented a car, dropped Maura off the university, and left to go back to Connecticut. At 11:30 that night, Fred called Maura to remind her to obtain accident forms from the DMV. After midnight on Monday, February 9th, Marie used her personal computer to search MapQuest. She then printed off directions to the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont. The first reported contact Marie had with anyone on February 9th was at 1 p.m. when she emailed her boyfriend. She said, "I got your messages, but honestly, I didn't feel like talking to much of anyone. I promised to call today, though." She also made a call inquiring about renting a condominium at the same Bartlett, New Hampshire Condo Association with which her family had vacationed in the past. Telephone records indicate the call lasted 3 minutes. The owner did not rent the condo to Maura. At 1:13 p.m., Maura called a fellow nursing student for unknown reasons. At 1:24 p.m., Murray emailed a work supervisor, and her professors that she was going to be off for a week due to a death in her family. We got that already. Okay, so by all accounts, it appeared that she was going to leave for a week and go have like a little vacation, right? So at 2:05 p.m., she called a number which provides hotel information for Stowe, Vermont. The call lasted 5 minutes. At 2:18 p.m., she called her boyfriend and left a message. In her car, she packed clothes, toiletries, textbooks, and her birth control pills. After her disappearance, police found an email to Maura's boyfriend indicating there was trouble in their relationship. Things aren't always as they seem, people. At 3:40 p.m., Maura withdrew $280 from an ATM. Camera showed she was alone. She purchased Bailey's Irish Cream, Kahlua vodka, and a box of Franza wine at a nearby liquor store. There are varying reports concerning people seeing Maura at her car after the accident. At 7:46 p.m., police arrived at the scene of Maura's vehicle. No one was inside or around the car. The car had impacted the tree on the driver's side of the vehicle, severely damaging the left headlight, and had pushed the car's radiator into the fan, rendering it inoperable. Duh. Okay, so the car's windshield was cracked on the driver's side, and both airbags had deployed. The car was locked. Inside and outside of the car, the police discovered red stains that looked to be red wine stains. Inside the car, officers found one empty beer bottle and a damaged box of Franza wine on the rear seat. They found a AAA card issued to Maura, a blank accident report forms from the DMV, gloves, compact discs, makeup, diamond jewelry, and makeup, diamond jewelry, driving directions to Burlington, Vermont, Murray's favorite stuffed animal, and Not Without Peril, a book about mountain climbing in the White Mountains. Missing were Maura's debit card, credit cards, and cell phone, and none of which have ever been located. The police later reported that some of the alcohol she purchased was missing. 6 days after Maura disappeared, a massive search was launched involving tracking dogs, helicopters, trained searchers, local and state police, and state fish and game officials. The search covered a 20-mile area along Route 112. Not a single footprint was found in the snow. The tracking dogs lost Maura's scent about 100 feet from the accident in the middle of the road, which suggests that Maura either thumbed a ride or kept walking or was abducted. All right, so let me start with the first second that I wrote down Maura's name that I had gotten from the comment section. I was seeing her being raped. Yeah. The ironic thing, I was seeing a car that looked similar to my car, which I drive a Saturn. Yeah. So, Saturn, we have one Saturn, we have a truck, but okay. So I was able to connect with her. Okay, so I chatted with Maura, and she talked about her birthday was May 4th, and I said, yeah, that's too weird. That's my daughter's birthday. We talked about that. She went on to talk about how she thought that she had her life figured out pretty early on, and she said she literally woke up one day and nothing made sense to her. She went on to talk about her struggles, that she had many struggles in her life, that didn't necessarily have anything to do with anyone else. She said she struggled with alcohol. She would say, okay, I'm not going to drink anything this weekend. And it never lasted. And she said, it literally had become like a major struggle for her. And she said, she was doing things that she would have never normally did if she weren't on drinking alcohol. So she said it was a constant ongoing thing. They have alcoholism in their family. She's not the first. And she said it just became a struggle for some reason. And she said it just hit her hard and fast, came out of nowhere. And it just really hit her. And she said she just really struggled with that. Okay, sorry guys. She said that the night that she came around the corner and hit the tree, she had in fact been drinking. She said she wasn't drunk, but she had a decent amount of alcohol in her system, and she was concerned about that, with the police. She said she had gotten lucky when she wrecked her dad's car. She probably should have been arrested for drinking and driving then, but they didn't give her a field sobriety test or do anything about it. She said when she wrecked the car, a few people stopped and asked if they could help. Again, she was concerned about the police coming and her getting arrested. So she lied and said whatever she could to get the people just to leave and move on. She was trying to get her bearings and figure out what she was going to do. She talked about, I guess, once she crossed over, she saw that people were like blaming that guy Butch. And she said he did nothing wrong. He was trying to help her. He didn't do anything to her. He didn't do anything wrong. Okay. So she said an SUV pulled up. She thought it was a Jeep. There were two guys. They looked to be about her age. They told her they were heading to a friend's house and that, they could give her a ride there and she could spend the night there. And then tomorrow they could help her get wherever she needed to go. So she said, okay, great. She said, it was against my better judgment. I didn't want to get arrested. They looked perfectly harmless. I went with them. So she said they were probably on the road at least 25 minutes or more. But she said the problem is that when she drinks, time doesn't add up. So she said it could have been longer. She doesn't know. It was getting dark. It was dark, The driver said his name was Chris. The passenger said he was Jay. They helped her grab her stuff and put everything in the car. Took off. And I can say this. I don't think Chris and Jay were really their names. Like, I thought from the second she was saying that, I didn't feel like that was truly their identity. That wasn't their identity. Like, I didn't feel like... So I kind of felt like the one they called Jay, like his name started with a J, and that's why the guy Chris was calling him that. And I don't feel like Chris is anywhere near his name. Like, I don't even think it's like a middle name or anything. I don't think it's anywhere near his name. So anyway, they get to the driving for a long time. They were kind of chit-chatting, laughing in the car. They get to this house. They pull up, and she went on to say that she got like like all of a sudden her heart started beating rapidly because she noticed there were like no cars in the driveway. It was obviously dark inside. And she thought, okay, well, they've been nothing but nice. It'll be okay. So she grabs her stuff. They walk in. They get inside. The house is freezing cold. So the guy, Chris, I guess, starts building a fire to try to get it warmed up in there. So she sat down in the living room and she watched Chris starting the fire, and Jay was like putting stuff away and messing around at what she thought was the kitchen. There was a blanket on the couch. She curled up in it and just kind of sat there as he's building the fire, and it started warming up slowly. And she started chit-chatting with the guy, Chris. She started asking him, actually, where are your friends? I thought this, and he's like, oh, this, it's our friend's parents' place. We come here periodically, and then we end up going skiing and stuff. And, they're going to be here later. And that part of it, she said she just felt it in the pit of her stomach. Like, she should have known at that point. She said she should have just jumped up and ran the frig out of there, Not that, I don't know that she would have gotten very far, because when I was having visions of this house, it seemed like it was pretty desolate. So then I guess Jay came back in, and Chris began to pull out like the alcohol and putting it on this counter. And he asked her if she wanted something to drink. And she was like, of course, and they started doing shots and they started drinking. And yeah. So she said that she began to feel more comfortable because she had gotten a couple more drinks in her. And she said, she started calming down a little bit and thinking, okay, everything's going to be okay. She said at this point, it didn't feel like anything was really off. So they continued doing shots. And she said, she had been sitting on the sofa and that she had to go to the restroom. And all of a sudden, when she stood up, she realized like how intoxicated she was. It was bad. And she kind of flopped back down. And she said the next thing she knew, Chris was on top of her and he was raping her. Yeah, God. She was sobbing. She was begging him to stop. He yelled for Jay. Jay came walking in and her eyes met with him as he came around the corner. And she was like, pleading, like, help me. And Jay proceeded to start raping her. She said when Jay got off of her, she just sobbed, and she said, I guess I just passed out. Because she said the next thing she knows, she was waking up and it was light out. She could tell from the windows it was light out. So Chris was asleep on the floor next to her, like near her. I guess she had gotten off the couch. She was on the floor. He was near her, and Jay was on the couch. And she thought, okay, this is my chance to bolt. And she quietly got up and she was able to get away from Chris, and she went to run. And then the next thing she knows, he overtook her. She felt her head being slammed against the front door. She said she was seeing stars. Everything was going like black. Yeah. And then she said she had went down. She must have like passed out. And she said in her mind, she was like reliving her life. She was seeing her dad and her mom and her siblings. And she was seeing like key moments through her life. And, they say like a lot of people have outer body experiences, and they have, like that reel of their life flash before them. It's kind of what it sounded like. So anyway, she said at some point she came to, and Jay said, what are we going to do? They're going to be here soon. What the hell are we going to do? And she said to them, she said, I won't tell anybody. Just let me go. I don't know you. I don't know where I am. Just take me somewhere and drop me off. And nobody will ever know. And the guy, Chris, was like, no, there's no way. No, there's no way. You've seen us. You've seen this house. Oh, hell no. No, you're not going to live. Yeah, so she remembers feeling like something crashing hard against the back of her head. And that was the last thing that she remembers. Okay, so here's the bizarre thing. So, at the beginning, I was getting like a lot of different things. I was seeing her being raped. The weirdest thing, so a lot of times I see things symbolically. So, for example, I was seeing like Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding. So, supposedly, Tanya Harding's husband and bodyguard took a baseball bat and hit Nancy Kerrigan's knees so that she wouldn't be able to participate, so that Tanya Harding would get in the Olympic team. So I was seeing that, and then I kept seeing the word Kerrigan. Kerrigan. And then it became Kerrigan. And I was like, Kerrigan, okay, that means something. And I'm sure it does mean something. I just don't know what it means. I was asking Maura, like, where are you buried? Like, do you know where you're buried? She seems to think she's outside, like in the, in the ground, but she thinks it's like on the side of this mountain. And I can't shake that Carrigain. So I really am wondering if that has something to do with the location, or maybe that's where the house is. That has something to do with it. I just don't know what it has to do with. Like I said, it's another sad case, y'all. It's another sad one. It doesn't make any sense. It didn't need to happen. It's just... Oh, and I just, this is just my opinion, but I feel like when I was talking to Maura, I felt like when she said, she thought she had her whole life figured out, and then bam, she wakes up one morning and she didn't. I feel like that was, it wasn't just alcoholism. I feel like it was like maybe manic depression. Maybe she was bipolar, and that's why she felt better when she drank, I really did feel that. And I mean, that would explain some of the reasons why she did what she did and some of the rationing behind what she did. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, guys, listen. Stay safe. Be nice. Wear your mask. Be careful. This pandemic's not over yet. It ain't over, y'all. I wish it were, but it's not. So, yeah. And the other thing, if you watch this video and you don't agree with me, just walk away. Click out and walk away. You know what I mean? There's no need to be rude. There's no need to say nasty things. I mean, just walk away. It's okay. It's okay just to walk away. You don't have to be nasty to people just because you can. You know what I mean? And for all the nice people out there that always comment and that are so lovely, I love you guys and you're good people. And I really, truly appreciate it. So, all right, that about does it. Bye.